Today we need to talk about Emily the Criminal.
The famous Emily the Criminal.
Let's start right off with ratings. Do you want to go first? You want me to go first?
You can go first.
This is so tough for me.
I feel that.
Um, I'm gonna try to mix personal feelings with genuine critiques,
Okay.
and with that, I'll say 9.0.
Wow. That's really high.
I was gonna say 8.9. I couldn't pick. I decided to go
Okay.
up.
For me, I mean, I guess I would, okay, if I'm just being honest,
Mhm.
I would probably do like 8.5.
Sure, totally.
Yeah.
I mean, from a super logical standpoint, somewhere in the mid eights, maybe low eights, makes
Yeah.
total sense to me.
Mhm.
Beyond sense.
Yeah.
I personally fucked with it.
Yeah. I mean, it was definitely it was a very intense movie. I was on the
Yeah.
edge of my seat. It kind of gave me the same feeling as when I watched Uncut Gems.
Yeah. It gave me, I know, okay, these are pretty far off, but it gave me a similar feeling as The Novice.
Weird.
Yeah. It was more indie than I thought it was gonna
Yeah.
be. And it was very indie, in my opinion.
Oh,
Like, it
really?
was,
To me, it felt like a little bit like commercial.
I felt like it was gonna be, and then I felt like watching it, that's not the impression I got from it.
Yeah.
Especially with the certain amount of lack of music, the
Hmm.
certain types of camera angles,
Yeah.
and I don't know. Okay, the reason that I can almost see it being rated lower is that it's not a very famous cast.
Hmm.
There's only one person in it who we all
I, f-
know.
I feel like I know the main guy. I feel like I've seen him.
Yusuf? Is that his
Yeah.
name?
Yusef. I feel like I've seen him in something. I'm gonna look him up really quick.
I have not seen him in
But
anything. I know that for sure.
I mean, I thought it was good for sure. Like thinking about like going over it in my mind. I don't have that much like beef with it. There's just something about it.
The other thing that I was going to say, this is not to cut you off. This is still part of this topic. The other thing I was going to say that I would understand if it was rated a little bit lower, it can kind of give an impression of low budget,
That's what I kind of that's the vibe.
but I took it as more of an indie way.
Okay. So the guy, he is in Sons of Anarchy and like that's what I thought. I just wanted to make
Same.
sure. And yeah, he's not like he's not a bad actor. He was really likable in Sons of Anarchy, I want to say.
And what do you think in here?
He was likable, but like frustrating. I mean,
Mm,
everybody, it felt like very frustrating the whole movie, like the Uncut
mm.
Gems vibe,
Yeah, I
where
mean,
you're
there was a
just
lot of
really
anxiety,
frustrated.
but okay, let me say the things that I liked about it a
Okay.
lot. First of all, I think that the script carried a lot of the movie. If I was to
Okay.
just read this screenplay and that's it, I would think it's like a near perfect screenplay.
Really?
I mean, near
Okay. I
perfect. I'm
wasn't
not going to
like,
say perfect, but it's like, I mean,
okay,
it's
I wish I
definitely up
paid
there.
more attention to, you know, the script. I was really just, I was so like emotionally involved.
Also, um, and totally I get that. But also, it was such a complete story
It
where
was really
there was a
complete.
point where she, they went to go rob his brother,
Mhm.
Khalil, right?
Mhm.
And I was frustrated because up to this point I was like, whoa, this movie is like I really fuck with it. But the direction I thought it was going in, I thought it was going in what is typically a predictable direction of what this type of movie would go in, which is
Mhm.
she has one job, then she has the second job, which is crazy,
Right.
and then the third job, which goes berserk.
Right.
And so I was waiting for this third job to happen
Mhm.
where shit goes haywire because that's just how all these movies go. But the third job wasn't even really like a job. Like it wasn't like I mean it was like she was gonna get a cut out of this, but it wasn't like, okay, I've assigned you one last
Right.
job. Like,
Mhm.
how like those movies typically go. It was just like robbing this brother, and it was somewhat of an underwhelming like
Right.
thing. But and so like at this point I had thought like, "Ugh, that just knocked this movie down quite a few points for me."
Mhm.
But then when she's in what I'm assuming is South America, because she said she wanted to go there,
Yeah, it
and
was.
then she's teaching this class, like she's becoming the new
Yeah.
boss.
Mhm.
Then the whole movie made sense. That this it's that that's not the point of this direction. It's not to go to one last job,
Yeah.
one big like
Mhm.
action movie thing. It's almost like this bitch's origin story. Like,
Yeah,
you know what
she
I'm
is
saying?
Emily the criminal, and she
Yeah.
is a criminal through and through. Like,
Yeah.
she is mentally almost like made for it.
And another thing, speaking on the script, the middle with the mom visiting them, Yusuf's mom,
Mhm.
and she says,
Yeah.
Emily, you can be Emily the teacher, Emily the mother,
Right.
Emily the I don't know. And knowing like what this movie is called, that feels brilliant. Like it
Yes.
feels like brilliant writing. There's like something so special about
Right.
this
Because
script
when
to
you
me.
hear the title, like before when I went into the movie, it kind of sounds like a cheesy title,
Okay.
like very commercial.
hmm
But when they say it, it's not cheesy anymore.
It made it like for me what like I said was like special. It felt
Yeah.
like I literally smiled at that
Mhm.
moment. I thought
I
it
know. I
was
think I looked
so
over at
cute.
you.
Like, whoa, this is
Yeah.
deeper like than I thought.
I do have respect for, okay, although this is like nothing against like relationships in a criminal type movie. Obviously, they love to do that, but I
hmm
like how they didn't make her so like, oh my God, life is over now that this thing happened. Because typically for women, it's like the whole world like stops whenever their man dies doing some criminal
Yeah.
activity.
No,
And
she was
she
a
carried on. She grabbed the bag,
and on top of that,
and I respect that. I just respect it.
yes, and this is just topping on what you're saying. Her whole personality in this movie was like that. Even when she got robbed by those two
Yeah.
like, random
Yeah.
fucks and then gathers herself in less than a minute
I
to
know.
go tase them and get the dog back.
Oh my God, I
I don't
know.
even think she got the money back. She like
She
almost
did. She grabbed the
did she?
bag. You remember
Good
she
for
grabbed
her.
the wallet out and she threw it at her and she's like, I know your address. I know your name. You can find me, but I can also find you. Grabbed her money, grabbed the dog, and left. And I
Okay,
thought
I
that was
have
pretty
like what
badass.
feels like so much to unpack about all of her different perspectives on work and certain people, but
Hmm.
I before I even get there, I want to say mad respect to Aubrey.
I know.
Lately, okay, like not that she has ever let me down, but the past 3 things I've seen, which for me was Ingrid Goes West
Hmm.
and White Lotus, and now this, um, blown me away. I mean,
He
truly.
is so well-rounded as an
Oh my
actor,
god,
and she's
for
way more
real.
impressive than she gets credit for, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
100%. And we already had a conversation privately about this, how playing funny is not is not easy,
It is not
and
easy
it's
at all.
almost innate to some extent to act genuinely funny. Like
Mhm.
you're not being a joke, you're legitimately
Yeah.
funny as a person.
Mhm.
Her ability to do that level of comedy
Right.
is impeccable, but also her ability to do, I mean, all these different roles. This
Right.
variety is out of
Mhm.
control. Like it is really, she is seriously not getting the credit she deserves.
I 100% agree with that because I have not seen her in a lot. I know she did that really popular show.
Yeah. Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And I know people loved her in that. I just really don't know much about it. But her being so serious and like giving me anxiety, but
Yeah.
she was just so realistic. Like I could really see who this person is. And obviously in all of her other things that I've seen her in, just so different, so good. Like she's just really good.
I know. I don't know how she needs to get some more respect, but she definitely, she's not, it feels like she's not talked about as professionally as she should be.
I know. I feel like people don't look at her like okay, I guess I shouldn't say that because I don't know how people see her in the industry, but they're not giving her the roles I feel like she
Yeah,
deserves.
maybe that's why it's sticking out because these are not blockbuster roles
Right.
at all. I mean, like dead ass,
I
none of
know.
them.
And she's carrying these movies.
He's carrying them to a point that, like, holy shit.
I
If
know.
you, I guarantee you, if you casted someone else in this movie, I mean, I'm sure there's maybe some people who could do an equally good job, but
Right.
she killed this role, and
She
this
did.
movie would not be as good without her. I stand by
100%.
that. Just like
Yeah.
Ingrid. Ingrid would be
I
nothing
agree.
without Aubrey. Like, and that's just a
That one
fact.
is yeah.
Not
No
that we're
one
gonna
could do
dive
that.
into it,
We're
but
not going to dive into that movie, but if you haven't seen it,
check it out.
yeah,
That is funny.
side note. But yeah, I mean she did amazing.
Okay, one thing I also wanted to say that I thought they did pretty well, um, in terms of race, their diversity was on par. On
Yes.
fucking par. It looked like
I agree.
goddamn America. Like
Right.
literally, it looked realistic.
Yep.
Literally, which rarely happens.
I know.
I mean, seriously, the diversity felt like who casted this? Because go cast some more shit,
Right.
don't you think?
100%.
Yeah,
I think
that
they did a
stuck out
really
to me
good.
heavy.
It did stick out to me too. I did think of that.
Hmm.
But yeah, I do think her personality is just crazy. Like her how do I even get into
Okay, let's start with the very like beginning. Her at her job interview.
Mhm.
We already know this bitch has an assault charge. Like she has a
Yeah.
full, the very first scene, you know that her background
And she doesn't want to talk about it and a DUI.
in a DUI.
And she's like,
But then
fuck the
when
DUI.
she
The
feels
DUI.
tricked by this interviewer, she's livid.
Mhm.
Not like, oh, I'm so sorry. Please let me like restart, or like
I know.
I didn't want to say that because of this. She said,
Right.
"Fuck you. I don't want this job."
Yeah.
Her personality is pretty clear from the
Mhm.
get-go.
And it's a strong personality.
She doesn't take any shit. Like she sees through all the bullshit and she doesn't
Mhm.
want to fucking stand for it.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I agree. And I feel like I respect that. I mean, I just respect that she's not.
Yeah. And
being talked
then
down to, because a lot of times, like, even for me, if I was treated the way she was being treated, I wouldn't have the backbone. She's a strong
yeah, this
backbone.
bitch had balls. She had balls. But also, then when she has her second interview at this art place,
Mhm.
I'm sorry, you said six, like, no payment?
Right.
No. Like, I don't give a shit. Like, I don't give a shit. And I need money.
Yeah.
Well, I want this job. This is a
Mhm.
career that I aspire to have.
Right.
And I don't give a shit because if you're not paying me, I'm wasted. Like, this is a joke. It's a scam. Like,
Yeah,
it's like this feels like a scam, you
it
know?
is. And they definitely were just trying to, you could just see how she wasn't the type of person to be taken advantage of.
Yeah.
She
For real.
and she was constantly in positions of people taking advantage, even at her job, her catering job that she does.
Yeah.
And the boss there, like, fuck you, I'm taking you off these shifts
Mhm.
and you're independent contractors. I don't care.
Yeah.
Cry about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. And that's what I thought made the ending so good as well, which to me felt borderline like an origin story of a movie.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not going to continue after this, but you know it's so concluded because you know her so well by the end of
Right.
this movie that she's literally the boss of this
Yeah.
now, and she'll run it, and she'll run
Hmm.
whatever the fuck comes at her. That's all you need to know. You don't
Yeah.
have to wonder like what's gonna happen to Emily. You know damn well she's got it covered, whatever the
Yeah.
fuck. She didn't give a shit.
She
And she
doesn't.
also had like these moments at the end where she was sitting on the beach and like contemplating things, and it just stuck out to me as like such a complex person. Like,
Right.
not just, oh, I don't give a shit about anything and fuck that, but like really thinking about like almost self-reflecting in some
Yeah.
way.
Do you think that she's a bit of a sociopath?
No,
Really?
do you?
I think she might be. I just don't know if you how she was the way that she was without having the lack of like empathy. Okay, well, I guess I should talk about how authentic do you think her relationship was with Yusuf?
Ready?
You think it was really
Yeah. I
like
mean, I
deep,
don't
or do you
think it
think that
was.
she loved him, or do you think she just
I think she
liked
liked
him?
him. They were dating for a short period of time. Like,
I know.
I think it's just that realistic. Like, she wasn't fucking married to him.
No, I
She
know.
didn't have kids with
I
him.
just think, do you think that she really cared about him?
Yeah, totally. But she had to also like think like I have to get out of here.
I know,
And
but
she
she
said
was
I'm
also
sorry. Like
really,
she really meant it to
yeah.
me, I thought.
She had a strong, she bounced back quick, is all I'm going to say. Because she, every time she went through something, she could almost think about things so logically. She wasn't coming from a place of emotion almost ever. It was logic, it was survival.
Mhm.
And I can respect that 100%.
Totally.
It's just, there was not a lot of emotion from her. Even when he died, she didn't really have like a grieving. She was
She could
survival.
have possibly when she first arrived in South America, cuz she dipped quick. I
Yeah,
mean,
she
the
did.
police were there quick.
Hmm.
She was gone. I don't know how far into the future she was sitting with these people, like
Right.
talking with setting up this class basically. So like I
Yeah.
don't know.
Maybe the beach thing she was, you know. But she
Thinking
seemed
about
really happy
Yusuf.
when they first showed her and she was like walking out of her little
Mhm.
home down the street. That did feel like true peace. I don't know. There was
That's what
something
she
about it.
wanted. And that's another thing that I thought was so good about the script because it's almost like a foreshadow
Yeah.
because she was like what would you do if you had money? Oh, I would go to South America. I would paint. I would just feel
Hmm.
free. And that's how it ended, you know?
Right.
Like a little hidden egg in there.
And doing her own criminal activity.
Yeah.
Anyways, what do you think about her friend?
Um, she's emotionally unavailable as a friend.
She's
She's
just like
very
tone deaf or
self-centered to
something.
me. To me, she's so like she gave selfish, and she
Mhm.
gave entitled. Not like okay, I don't know if entitled, more like pretentious,
Yeah.
and so in her own world that when she was talking to Emily, whether she was helping her or not, it came off condescending.
Yeah.
And also when but I do think they did have like a genuine friendship to some
Yeah.
extent. Like and it was clear. Like because there was even a point when Emily was in the bathroom doing something. You know, she had thrown that phone away. Do you remember that scene? And
Mhm.
then she came back for it because she got the
Yeah.
text. She was on the phone with her friend, and her friend was like, "Oh, they don't have any positions."
Right.
And Emily was like, "Well, did you ask like for real?" And it feels like that's what you say to someone you're like really close with.
To
They're
me
not
it
like
feels like
surface level.
she's the type of person that doesn't care. She's very blunt.
I agree, but at the same time, they weren't really what I felt too fake with each other to some
I don't think they were
extent.
fake.
And when they kind of told everyone, yeah, I've known her since high school. Like we've and not
Mhm.
only that, but then we went to college together too.
Yeah.
And when Emily quit or, you know, basically got out of that interview, said like fuck this, I'm out.
Mhm.
Her friend just kind of nodded. Was like this is like awkward, but mm, like I kind of like, you know, I like she
Mhm.
didn't like she wasn't mad at Emily for it.
I know, but
And
to
she
me it
even
seems like
texted her
she
like,
knew,
"Can you call me?"
because to me it seems like she knew that the spot available was an internship.
Yeah, I agree.
And I
And I
think
think she was
Emily
shady
was
for that.
really upset about that. And
Mhm.
that's why she was like, "No, I'm not going to message her back. I'm not. I have bigger things to do right now anyways."
Yeah. I mean, okay, just to be honest, like she wasn't a good friend. Like she was okay.
She was okay. I mean, she's not a ride or die,
No.
but
She
she's
wouldn't take a bullet for you.
no.
I would not trust her with my life.
But a lot of friends, when I feel like it's a very realistic portrayal of friendships when you're an adult and you're kind of doing your own thing. I mean, she was really about herself. And I feel like a lot of people have friendships like that.
Not mine.
I know, not yours.
Yeah. I don't know. It's hard for me to think of it as like a
I'm just
genuine
thinking
friendship.
about the people that I know in my life who have friends.
Mhm.
It's a similar dynamic.
Sick. Defense. What did you think of her first job, her second job?
I think, okay, the first one, you know,
The like credit cards.
no, I know. I'm trying to think of
Okay,
my
what I
thoughts on
was
it.
thinking when it happened was that her looking at that thing to see if it approves or not felt like me every day. And that was the first time or like the first like half of the movie I felt like, oh my god, I get it. Like I get this
Mhm.
bitch in this horrible rat race of
Yeah.
a life. Like it is miserable and like oh shit, like maybe I will do this shit for
Hmm.
$200. Like I
Right.
mean 200 was like a little low for like a crime. It like feels
Yeah.
like, but regardless, yeah, I mean, I got it. I got her stresses. I got the whole nine.
No, I
I
get what.
totally got this $70,000 of student loans that feels like something has to fall from the sky above
Right.
for me to ever pay this
I
off.
no, I totally understand why she decided to do that. I mean, if you think about it, she already has felonies. She's already like having a hard
That's
time
true. That's
getting a
true.
job. So even if she got caught for some theft, it's like,
Yeah.
I already have a record. I
The
t-
second job. Oh wait, were you gonna say something?
I was just gonna talk about the second job.
Yeah, the second job I thought was intense
It was
as
so
fuck.
crazy. I mean, I had a feeling they were going to catch her, and they really did. I mean, she handled her business. I would not be able to be dragged out of that car, get punched in the face, still push the guy off, take the keys and drive off and
Hmm.
get away. I couldn't believe she did all that.
And like get out because she's stopped by this truck
I
and
know.
fully mace him, basically.
I know.
It
She
was
was
like
just built for this. Like
she was
she
built
really
for
was.
this. Emily is the criminal. It's meant for her, and
It
that's
really
just all there
is.
is to it.
I know. Do you think that she's like a little bit sloppy though? I mean, probably
Like in
not
what way?
now in South America, but like when she was doing it, because he said, don't go to the same store twice in 1 week. She did. She just didn't really
Okay,
cover her
so
tracks.
what
I mean,
I
even with,
had thought happened there was I didn't realize that she took all her money back because when she got robbed, I saw her take the wallet, but I thought she was just getting like that bitch's address and threatening her
Mhm.
because they took like $15,000
Yeah,
and it didn't like that wouldn't fit in that girl's wallet. So like I
right.
just didn't see her grab that like
It was a pink bag she grabbed.
oh she did.
Hmm.
Okay, so when I saw that scene, I was under the impression that she had just lost all her money, so she's
Hmm.
like fuck it, like I need to kind of catch up. Like I'm gonna hit two
Right.
stores 1 week. But I guess if she did take that money, like yeah, I don't know
I
why
think
she
it
would do
was,
that.
I mean, yeah, I think she just was like a little in over her head. I think she learned a lot of lessons along the way of what to do and what not to do.
I mean, I'm sure she thought like what is the big deal? This is like
Right.
so easy at this point.
Yeah, she was just not that like smart about it. And then obviously with the robbing the brother, that was just a hatch job. Like it was just a mess. And come on now, the shower, going in the bathroom, it felt like a setup.
It was scary as hell.
Like you knew he was going to come around the corner and do something.
What did he kill his brother with? How did he kill him? It looked like he just knocked him on like the back of the head.
He knocked him pretty hard and
He had like a hemorrhage or some shit.
probably.
Okay.
I mean, they don't really I don't think they really went into. I mean, you just saw his head bloody. I didn't think he was gonna die from it until I saw him on the ground in the
Hmm.
bathroom and he like wasn't moving. I thought he might have died in that moment.
I
I
thought
was
so
like,
too.
damn. That just reminds me of Don't Worry, Darling, when Florence hit Harry on the head with the glass and it literally killed him. That didn't make sense either. But
This was a hard one though.
this was, I mean, yeah, it was
But
definitely he
again,
could
it
have,
looks like he almost used his
but
hand.
he could no, he used
He
something.
did?
Yeah,
Okay.
and it hit him really, really hard. But I thought he was gonna like die right there, but it was sad. It was really sad him dying in the car, and he was worried about his brother because you could tell this guy was not malicious. He would never want to hurt his brother. He was really mad at his brother, and his brother for sure is not a good guy.
Hmm.
But he still had that heart, like the very end, thinking, "Did you kill him?"
Did he kind of give pussy to you at all?
That was, yeah. I mean, she even basically called him that, and the
Yeah.
brothers did too.
It was just
He was
interesting
soft,
because he started this movie almost seeming like the head honcho,
right?
not necessarily of the whole operation, but at least to Emily. Like
Right.
I'm this like tough guy.
This almost protector. He like
Yeah, and
giving her
it was
money.
clear pretty quick that Emily was had way bigger balls than him, like they said, like
Right.
dead ass.
Mm-hmm.
He could not.
He wasn't made for like the life like Emily was in a way.
Mhm.
He had the tools, he had the knowledge, but he emotionally was not made for it.
Yeah.
And, you know, yeah, I do think it was sad when he died. I do think his life that sucks at the end. I mean, he was creating this whole thing of this life that he's going to have with all the this money. And you could tell it just was not going to go through because she kept asking him, "Is this your place? Did you buy it yet?" You know?
Mhm.
And he was like, "No, I'm gonna get the money. It's coming." You could tell it was never gonna come. Well, I could.
Yeah, what was the issue? His brothers were gatekeeping?
Yeah, clearly they're, you know, above him,
Mhm.
and he was in a partnership. They both their names were on the account, but I think his brother was just doing more. He was
Yeah,
probably just older brother, just more in
totally.
charge. He was way harder,
Yeah, by far.
way more serious about it, and his brother obviously got pissed because Emily fucked up, and
Mhm.
he brought Emily on. He shouldn't have, because
Did
that's
you
clearly
think it
not what
was
they do.
fucked that Yusuf, like, borderline forced Emily into this robbery?
100%.
Me too.
Because she was like, "No,
She was
I
like,
don't want
"This
to do
is not
that."
even my shit," and he was like, "They're gonna blame you anyway."
I know. No,
Like,
I did
what kind
completely
of
think that was fucked
manipulative
up.
shit is that?
I know. And also, she could tell at this point that these are men that are not ones to fuck with.
Mhm.
And she's just in a vulnerable place. He kind of backed her into a corner of like, you really don't have a choice because they're going to come for you, and we better come for them before they come for us.
Yeah,
Kind of
it
forced her
seems like
into
what
it.
really sold her was thinking about that cut.
Yeah. I think that also there's something about her that, okay, what's left to lose? I really need this money.
Mhm.
And I'm going to do anything I can to get it. I mean, even when she was talking about her assault
Yeah.
with her ex, and they just fought a lot, and she said the only regret is she didn't go harder, because
Mhm.
then he wouldn't have called the police on her. I think she had that in her of just, because he was going to stop when he realized his brother robbed him
Yeah.
before he could rob him. He kind of gave up. He was really upset. He said, "I lost everything." And she was like, "No, no, we're going to go after him harder."
You know, a little detail that I thought was nice.
Hmm.
Um, they're like beers and cigarettes.
Mm-hmm.
There is something so casual that I feel like I always talk about realism, like all
Yeah.
the time, but it was something so casual. Like they just really did feel like real ass people, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Really
They
that.
did.
And it looked like she knew how to smoke. She had a cigarette at one point, right? At the
Yeah, she
party?
did. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I also like how even with her party scenes, and there was a big party scene where she was doing like coke in the bathroom with her friend and those
Yeah.
guys,
Mhm.
and she had the interview or something the day after.
Yep.
And I always think, and it's so typical in every movie that you see,
They wake up
they
late
wake up late and then they're
and they're
pissed.
walking in the door, they're tucking in their shirt at the
Hmm.
same time as they're, "Oh, hi. So
Yeah.
sorry."
And she always made it on time. And I just like that because I do feel like that's real.
It was real. Like honestly, if you're going to go out the night but you know you have something to do
Right.
in the morning, you probably are going to make it.
You're going to get
Like
it
just to
together.
be honest, even if you have to I don't know,
Hmm.
drink coffee, like whatever the fuck.
Right.
But yeah, you know you have to be somewhere at 9. You're still keeping this in the back of your head even
Yeah.
when you're out.
And when you're watching movies that they're always like late, it's such an eye roll every
I
time. So I
know.
liked how
So
they didn't do that
predictable.
bullshit.
Yeah, I know. I thought it
Who did
was
this
really good.
movie?
I don't know. You should look it up.
Hey, I'm going to look it up. John Patton Ford. He's a
Done
writer as
anything
well.
else? Oh, good. I was gonna ask you who the writer was.
Yeah. He really hasn't done anything else. Just Shadow Man, and that's it, I think.
Wow, good for him. I really, like I said, for me, what mostly sold me was this story. If, like I said, if I could read the screenplay, it would feel like a really cute story that I
Yeah.
just read, especially the last like lines of it and everything.
Yeah. I can't believe she remembered his whole speech and was able to replay that for her own little thing.
Mhm.
Okay, so this is really interesting because the reviews online are all different. On
Oh,
Rotten Tomatoes, it has a 94%, which great. And on IMDb, it's a 6.7 out of 10. I know that's a big difference.
that's huge.
75% on Metacritic and 78% like this movie on Google. The poor box office. It only did 2.2 million.
It was only in our theater for a fucking
I
week.
know. It's crazy. But I do think it's a really good movie and I do recommend it. I think it's an interesting movie to watch. It's really intense.
Yeah. It feels like another one of those movies that for me personally, I feel like I liked it for no reason.
Hmm.
Because it's not like,
Okay, to me, it's really like Aubrey. I
yeah,
think that she made me really like it. I don't
yeah.
know how much I would like it with just a random.
No, yeah. I thought I said this, but maybe I didn't. For me, what made it good to me was the script and Aubrey. Like those
Mm-hmm.
combined,
And
it
like a
was
good
good.
variety of cast. I do like that.
Hell yeah. It was refreshing. I
It
mean,
is.
and it was, here I go again, but just realistic. Like, I don't know, like the dealerships and whatever, like it just wasn't a bunch of like just to be honest, like a bunch of white people everywhere
I
at every
100%
single
agree.
event, all of the time. Like white car salesmen, white like friend, white like
Hmm.
it was just
No, I agree. That's why I'm
totally
saying
different
I
people.
think that like it was just very real.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean it was just inclusive, like
Yeah.
genuinely. This is not excluding whites. Like I'm gonna make that clear, but like there were whites in the movie, but it just had other people too.
Yeah.
Like thank God for it.
Different like cultures and stuff.
Yes. And it wasn't like and it felt like a pretty like decent variety of
Yeah.
like cultures too, which
Yeah.
feels very
It's
fucking rare.
super rare.
I mean, usually it seems limited to like two or three.
I actually can't think of one ethnic background that is was not in this movie. They had everything.
Did they?
They did.
Mm.
Respect.
Respect. Shout out to the casting director.
Yeah.
Shout out to the casting director. Shout out to, you said John, his name was?
Um, I would have to go back. Let me see. Yeah, John Patton Ford.
For writing and directing. Shout out to Aubrey for the acting that I hope one of these days you get the blockbuster role you deserve or whatever the fuck
No,
you're
for
itching for.
real.
I don't even know if it's blockbuster, but the pedestal that you deserve to be on.
Seriously, she really is. She's something else.
You keep your score the same?
I think I would.
Yeah,
Did you keep
totally.
yours the same?
Yeah, 8.9. Oh wait, no, I said
You said
9.0,
9.
right?
Yeah.
Shit.
Well, I mean, that's like the same.
I don't know. Not to me. I think I might go to 8.9. Can you believe
Really.
that after the talk?
I know. I did really like it though. And I do think it was a fun watch.
It was, there's something about it that I appreciate so much. And I don't know what else to say about that. I just appreciate this movie. There's something like about it, ironically.
That is so ironic.
It feels just like special. It's just like it's almost like such a simple story. On
It
some
is
level,
so
it feels like a
simple.
short story that is extended into like an hour and a half. But it feels like a cute little like a haiku or something, or like a
Yeah.
fucking poem that has some sort of depth to it that is like
Yeah. It's full
and full
circle.
circle, well rounded. I just really liked it.
Mhm.
I applaud it. I'm glad it exists.
Me too.
All right, that's it.
All right.